the mixing of the cultures helped them to learn from each other.
Any programs that you may have for students who might be looking for internship?
Failure to success and destiny definitely leaves clues.
Do they look at you as a little boy or somebody too young for entrepreneurship?
But it's you to prove them wrong, or more so to prove yourself right.
Dareem, nice to have you today. And everybody have their own unique story. And you being a personal entrepreneur, tell us about your story, about your struggles, how you were able to overcome your struggles and then end up being successful, which you are today.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Moruga. Grew up to a single mom who had us in the very early teens. We weren't well off in any sense of the word and struggled. I think the usual struggle. We didn't know we were poor. I think growing up in South where everybody struggled, it just became the norm of life. And at 17, I got put out of home.
Whoa.
And I left Moruga and moved straight up to the East West Corridor. I made St. Augustine my home and I had $28 in my pocket.
Whoa.
And that's how I started my adult life. By the age of 24, I'd lost everything 3 times. Once when I was 17, when I got put out of home. Then I lost everything when I went through crazy flood in 2018, that flood that wiped out Green Lane and these guys. And then COVID hit. Lost everything again, unemployed for 8 months. And yeah, I think I have become so comfortable with rock bottom. Like that is a place that I just know all too well. So it's become very easy for me now to navigate between, the high tops and the rock bottoms. Yeah.
Do you think you have anything that you will consider as a hurdle now, seeing that you started from the bottom, come up?
I think it's just mindset and educating yourself because right now I'm 29.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything that I do now at 29 in business that I couldn't be doing when I was 21. I think it's just years of, experiences and educating yourself, reading books, listening a lot of podcasts and videos and stuff to just enlighten yourself about the world of business and life on a whole. So I think it's just that. So I think it just comes out of mindset. How you view the world, understanding strategies and how to navigate life. I think that's the only hurdle of ourselves.
When you said Marsha Montana was too young for soca, you being 29 years old, and it has entrepreneurs who are 40, 50, and so forth. But do they look at you as a little boy or somebody too young for entrepreneurship?
I think you have to reach a place where you build credibility, of course. You have to show you know what you're talking about. So I think it all comes down to posture. It's a take it or leave it type of thing. Whether you help me or not, it's going to get done.
Correct.
So I think it's posture. I think it's building credibility, showing that you know what you know. Because of course, with age, people will think you're immature in experience, but it's you to prove them wrong, or more so to prove yourself right.
Awesome. Ecowash. I see that in Trinidad, but I see that you travel a lot. So isn't that you just based in Trinidad, or is it that you're looking for opportunities abroad? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I realize there's a massive demand for the Ecowash system around the world. Most countries are water strapped. It's being said right now that the next world war will be fought over water, and that water will be traded on the stock exchange. That's how crucial it is. And less than 1% of the world's water is actually drinkable. And in this day and age, with 1.4 billion cars on the roads of the world, with over 85 million cars being manufactured every year, why are we still using drinking water to wash cars?
Yeah.
Why are we using drinking water to flush toilets when this is such a precious resource? So I'm traveling a lot because a lot of people don't know the extent of how much operations I have in different countries. That I'm traveling not only to scout for new territories, but to beef up my different operations in different islands, even in Africa with our operations over there.
Awesome. So I see that you have your Ecowash system here.
Yeah.
So tell us about it, show the audience what exactly is this and how it is that maybe they could obtain one if they want to, I don't know, or if it is that you only provide the service to them when they reach out to you.
Yeah, so as it stands right now, I only provide this service to corporate clients and regular customers. We are at different malls in Trinidad.
Yeah.
So at C3, Gold City Shops of Trin City. We're in Guyana now, but in our operations outside of Trinidad, we focus on corporate clients because corporate means that we're sure what our check is going to look like rather than taking a chance of would we have traction in these new countries. Before I went to Guyana, I already had the contract signed, so I know exactly what my expense and what my check was going to look like. So this machine is built out of recyclable plastics. It's solar powered.
Yeah.
It has everything within it needed to wash a car. So your hose, everything.
Okay, nice.
So a lot of people think that the machine is the secret sauce. Right. Actual secret sauce is the proprietary polymer that I created that once it's sprayed onto the vehicle, does all the magic. Paint decontamination, emulsifies the dirt, creates a film around it between the dirt and the paint, making it impossible to scratch the car, but promising that showroom finish when we finish with the vehicle.
So how it works? Water goes into it.
Yeah, so you fill the reservoir
Right.
with normal tap water,
Yeah.
and you put a few drops of our polymer in it. Once that diffuses in, you simply spray it onto the vehicle.
Okay, so you can put your own soap. You have to put your polymer.
In my proprietary
Right.
Ecowash polymer, you cannot just squeeze in it.
Yes.
Now,
Understood. Some people might even want to try squeezy, so you cannot use
you
squeeze
can't
to
just
show.
squeeze in it.
Yeah.
We're moving very soon into extending our micro franchising opportunities. Micro franchising is pretty new to Trinidad because normal franchising is taking this big business system, giving it to someone who has the heavy capital needed to inject in this year. But what we try to do is how do we create this big system, condense it, give it to the everyday man, where he can take this machine, go to his workplace, go to his community, go to his neighbor, and not try to become a millionaire, but how do I add a extra revenue streams to bolster myself when it comes to much money I have at the end of the month. So you're not looking to make millions, but could I make a few extra thousands where I could live a little more comfortable? That's the mission behind Ecowash and our franchising opportunities. And right now we're trying to see how we can maybe gather some more grant funding to see how we can subsidize the cost or even have it out there for free.
Awesome. So like persons now looking for job opportunities because we know in Trinidad in particular that job opportunities is not there. And so much persons coming out, graduate and everything. Do you have any opportunities, vacancies for persons who might be interested to maybe look for Ecowash?
It's a bad thing when a company is always hiring because you know something going on. But at
Yeah.
Ecowash, it's actually a good thing because we are always hiring because we're always signing new contracts. So we always need persons. We're moving into the industrial estate very soon. So that's going to be a lot more contracts being signed where we need persons for it. So we're always hiring. We tend to focus more on marginalized youths. So persons coming out of the foster care system at the age of 18, those who are wards of the states are actually kicked out of the home. So you're going to see a lot of them on the streets. So we hire a lot of them in the last 2 years. We hired 53 of them. We hired,
How many in total employees do you have presently?
if we're looking around the world, it's pretty high.
Okay.
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
We sustain a lot of people in our different operations in the Caribbean, in Africa. Now we actually launch Ecowash in Texas. So it's under the name Podwash. So yes, podwash.us. So, and then we have single mothers. We just had a single mother that we hired 4 kids. They amputated her leg last year. Nobody wanted to hire her. So we found a job for her within Ecowash that she can still get gainful employment while, maintaining that level of respect and dignity.
Yeah.
Last week we hired our first person with autism. So we focus on those that society tend to leave behind and fall through the cracks, but we also hire very able-bodied persons also, a good mixture, mixing cultures, mixing backgrounds, because we find that when we hire youth from Maraval and we hire next one from Princess Town, they tend to the mixing of the cultures help them to learn from each other.
Yeah.
So one is learning resilience while one is learning how to maybe approach situations differently based on their different backgrounds. So always hiring, you love youths. They're seen as inexperienced and immature, but my thing is I want to create for persons what I needed for myself at 17.
Understood. And being in the summer right now, because although in Trinidad school hasn't been closed, but we consider June month summertime and so forth.
Yeah.
Any programs that you may have for students who might be looking for internship?
Yeah,
This is
so we are
yeah.
launching our internship programs. We're not just tapping into internships from a tertiary level like universities. Of course, we're looking for persons who have maybe different studies in theater. As of course,
Yeah.
we need to market and do some skits and content and so forth, but also those who I had a young lady, 16, in Form 6, and she is doing entrepreneurship and business management and stuff in school. And she was able to bring so much um, enlightenment to certain processes. We have at Ecowash, just basic things you learn in secondary school. So yeah, there's no limit to who we're bringing on. Of course, we're going to look for as much room as possible to bring on as much people as possible. So it can definitely apply.
Awesome. And Ecowash, in terms of the name, how you came about that, how you came about with this, because like when I think about Trinidad, I see many car wash but I don't see like something that eco-friendly that using less water.
Mhm.
Like how you came about this?
Yeah, well, the name was pretty straightforward, Eco, and it's a car wash. But growing up in Moruga, we grew up using sandpipes. So persons use rivers. Water would come once every 2 weeks for about 2 hours. So now when I see people protesting because you don't have water for 2 or 3 days, it's like, hey, you're weak. You're pretty weak. So when I moved up to north, I used to bathe sometimes 4 and 5 times a night because at 17 was the first time I had a hot and cold shower. It was the first time I actually saw water flowing through the pipe 24/7. So I was really excited, but that quickly became frustrating for me because why were we in rural Trinidad being deprived while other people squandered the amounts of water that we have? So always had in mind, one, looking for a solution for that problem. But I also saw the possibilities of making a lot of money through car washing.
Mm.
We have 1.3, 1.4 million people in Trinidad, but we have over a million registered cars.
Yeah,
That's
that's so true.
ridiculous.
Like every household at least
Number.
have maybe 2 cars and more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the numbers, because we have over 300,000 registered license holders, so that's our 3 cars per person. So realizing that there is a serious market there. But when I wanted to start the car wash, it was during COVID when I lost my job and I was unemployed for 8 months. I had no finances to start a normal car wash. I always wanted to start it at the malls because I'm like, this is heavy traffic here. Great place to have a car wash. No money to build a traditional car wash bay and no vehicle, nothing to transport my machinery and so forth. So I had to become very innovative through youth business, trying to big on these guys. Put pen to paper to figure out how could we start a car wash, be eco-friendly, save water, and mesh everything into one. And that's how we came up with Ecowash. The solution we use in Ecowash now, back in Form 4 in a chemistry lab I was in secondary school, didn't follow instructions. The lab failed. It's actually the same solution we use now to wash cars.
Whoa.
A failed Form 4 science experiment.
And most of the times when you think about it and you hear, like stories and so forth, it always like a fail, project that end up becoming successful. So don't look as failure as something that you feel. I think you feel your way to success.
Failure to success and destiny definitely leaves clues because to look back and have the epiphany of, wow, this I used missing certain features from this. And I remembered crazy enough the formulation and everything. And now we've grown a global brand.
Awesome. So like anything that you would like to tell your entrepreneurs, people who are aspiring to become, any sort of advice that you would like to give?
Yeah, I think now where the business is at, I can safely say, look beyond our shows. There are massive markets out there. And I think when I travel, I see problems where I know we have solutions in Trinidad for those problems. So the world is waiting. The world is waiting for these Trini solutions to be exported. um, Beautiful markets out there. I think understanding scaling, understanding different business models, because we tend to think I own a store, I have to manage a store. But there are franchising, there are partnerships, there are many different things you can have executing partners in countries where you teach them your system and then they execute or you get some commission off it. So there's so many different models. I think we have to do everything ourselves. And that's a big problem we need to solve when it comes to mindset. that we have to do everything ourselves. Learn to delegate. I'm still learning how to delegate.
Yeah.
Because I think as a business owner, you're always paranoid and you always micromanaging. But understanding that systems are the key to everything. If you have a good product and you have a good system, that's
It's so true. Yeah, systems to me bring structure. So I always believe in systems utilizing tools to make your work not harder but easier.
much easier. I can see what's happening in Guyana without being in Guyana.
Correct.
And I know everything is how it's set up to operate flawlessly. So I think systems so crucial for us to build out, because running a business in Trinidad, you can always run to the store. You
Yeah,
can always just jump on a flight and go Jamaica or go Texas. So systems are very, very important. So I think you need to look maybe deeper into that.
correct. Definitely. And with AI technology and these things, we definitely have systems that we could utilize,
Yeah.
you know? So ChatGPT is it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much for your time
Thank you,
and
Anthony.
all the best.